Hello and welcome to NDTV and BQ Prime's special segment, Let's Talk Business. We'll get you the top news stories from the world of finance, business and economy. Let's start with how the markets performed today. Equity benchmarks shed gains to end marginally higher. Private banks dragged and Adani stocks led the gains. While metal and media sectors advanced, IT and realty shares declined. My colleague Hiral Dadia joining us with more from the BQ Prime newsroom. And Hiral, take us through the highlights of the market action today.
A pretty interesting day of trade is what we've witnessed. Throughout the day, we were pretty stable, but it's the last hour of trade which actually created volatility, and we had the indices which almost ended flat near the day's lowest levels. Sensex did top 62,000 levels in intraday trade, but we ended near the 61,950 mark. And if you see in terms of Bank Nifty as well, ended below the 43,900 levels. It was mainly IT as well as the cap goods which were a drag on the markets, but clearly the metals and energy stocks advanced and boosted the sentiment, and it was the Adani group of stocks as well which aided the sentiment overall. Broader markets, if you see, were trading with marginal gains in today's session, and the breadth in the first half of the trading session was pretty much skewed in favor of the bulls, but slowly, steadily the tide was turning towards the bears as well. So clearly there was this last hour profit booking that did come at play, because of which, if you see in terms of counters like Titan, Tech Mahindra, Grasim, HCL Tech as well as Apollo Hospitals, these were the top losers. Whereas on the gaining end, you had Adani Enterprises, Divis Laboratories, Bajaj Finserv, Eicher Motors as well as UPL. A lot of counters that also hit a 52-week high in trade today. So you had the likes of an ABB, Exide Industries, ICICI Bank as well as a Godrej Consumer Products. Looking at the newsmakers of the day, Adani group of companies were up and about in trade today, and this was mainly because GQG Partners has raised the stake in Adani Group by 10%. Moving from there on, SpiceJet was down for 6th consecutive session. However, they've said that they are planning to bring back 4 of the 25 grounded planes into service by the 15th of June. Escorts Kubota, they're looking to hike prices of tractors from June onwards, so that's going to be a counter we should be watching out for. HDAMC was under pressure as JP Morgan has flagged uncertainty with regards to their future profitability, so that was putting pressure on HDFC. ICICI shares also gained after securing an order from BSNL Bangalore. Gland Pharma was an interesting one because that stock rebounded by almost 10% in trade, and this was following significant declines in the previous sessions, and this is after the company announced its board's plan to hold an exclusive face-to-face meeting with Premji Invest as well. Moving on in terms of earnings reaction, HEG, Phenolix Industries, both these counters actually did see a downtick on the back of earnings. Kirloskar Industries posted a profit versus a loss, on the back of which that counter was up in trade, as well as on the back of higher profits, you had a Dreamfolks also which was up in trade. But overall, an interesting day of trade where throughout the day we've seen good gains, but last hour did bring in some profit booking. Back to you.
And moving on to the other big story of the day that concerns all of us, the process to exchange 2,000 rupee notes has begun from today. Now, there was no rush at banks to exchange the currency notes on day one, but the question is, what happens after September 30th if you're not able to exchange your currency till then? We have learned from sources that users may have to approach the RBI to exchange the 2,000 rupee notes after September 30th. My colleague Vishwanath Nair gets us these exclusive details.
If you're holding a 2,000 rupee note after September 30, you may have to go to the RBI to get this sorted out. Now, this information is coming from sources who are telling us that after the September 30 deadline, customers who are currently holding the 2,000 rupee notes may not be able to access the bank channel, nor will they be able to use the 2,000 rupee note for any transactions, and they will have to go to the RBI offices to get an exchange of other denomination notes, which they can then use for regular transactions. This comes in after Friday when the Reserve Bank of India announced that it was withdrawing rupees 2,000 notes from circulation and that these notes may not be able to be used for regular transactions. The RBI has said that the customers can approach bank branches as well as RBI's regional offices till September 30 to either exchange these notes or deposit them. While there's a limit to how much you can exchange at a time, it's at 20,000 at a time. You can continue to deposit as many notes as you want to into your bank accounts. Of course, after the 50,000 limit, you may have to submit your PAN details, but that was a requirement even before the 2,000 rupee note was withdrawn from circulation. At this point in time, as things stand, 2,000 rupee notes constitute about 10.8% of the entire currency in circulation in India, and they're expected to affect only a small portion of the population and the economy. The RBI governor, in fact, gave out a statement that currently the system has adequate number of other denomination notes available for exchanges, and that people should not be worried or panic at this announcement by the Reserve Bank of India. They still have time till the 30th of September to freely go to any bank branch and exchange these notes or deposit them into their bank accounts.
And as the counters to exchange notes opened at banks today, we visited some of the branches to take stock of the situation. Janani and Jaspreet were on the ground and they get us a sense of how the day one exchange experience was. Take a look.
We continue to bring you more updates from customers who have exited the bank. We have Mr. Chetan, whom we spoke to a while ago, who had told us he was required to fill up a form. He had visited another bank premises and he was analyzing what other banks are asking for. तो सर बताइए अभी आपका एक्सपीरियंस क्या हुआ, आप एक्सचेंज कर पाए?
हाँ, अभी एक्सचेंज हो गया। जैसे मैंने पहले आपके पास बताया था कि जैसे सेंट्रल बैंक में मैं गया था, उन्होंने हमें फार्म पकड़ाया कि आईडी दो, आईडी होने के बाद फिर आपको फार्म भरिए, आईडी दीजिए, उसके बाद आपके 20,000 रुपये आपको हम वापस करेंगे। ऐसे नहीं। फिर मैं वापस आ गया, फिर इस बैंक में आया तो यहाँ पे कई लोग खड़े थे। मैंने उनको पूछा मैं क्या कर रहे हैं, कहते वो भी ये भी फार्म दे रहे हैं। तो मीडिया वालों को हमने बताया। उसके बाद मैं क्या चलो अंदर ट्राई कर लेते हैं। जैसे हम अंदर गए तो हमारे पास पीएनबी के मैनेजर साहब आए, कहते नहीं कोई फार्म नहीं भर रहे हैं हम, और आप अपने पैसे चेंज करवा लीजिएगा। तो उसके बाद उन्होंने अपना फॉर्मेलिटी पूरी की, जैसे कि रजिस्टर बनाया, रजिस्टर में नाम और मोबाइल नंबर लिखा हमारा, साइन कराए और हमें पैसे चेंज कर दिए।
ठीक है, आपके पास अभी नोट से एक्सचेंज हो गया?
हाँ, एक्सचेंज हमारे पास हो गया। ये हमारे पास है, ये 20,000 का है कर दिया इन्होंने, कोई दिक्कत नहीं आई।
Okay, as you can see, a ward of 200 denominations for 2,000 rupee notes that have been exchanged from this location. The rules have been slightly changed. All that is being asked is phone number, a signature, and just the name of the person who's trying to submit in notes at this point of time.
We are here at the Ghatkopar branch of ICICI Bank and have been going around to other banks in the area as well. And we came by to see whether people were actually going to show up and exchange their notes at bank branches today or deposit them. So far, as you can see behind me, it seems to be a quiet day. No crowds or lines have formed so far. And while banks have seen limited amount of 1,000 rupee notes flow through them, shopkeepers in the area that we spoke to did say that ever since the decision was announced to withdraw these notes, people have been coming in and transacting with them. Here's what they had to say. Take a listen.
जब से ये 2,000 रुपए का नोट बंद हुआ है, आपके देखने में क्या लोगों ने आके इसको यूज किया है आपकी स्टॉल पे?
लेकर तो आते हैं सर, लेकिन चेंज की बहुत तकलीफ होती है। हाँ, अभी 200 का आदमी माल लेता है, उसको 1,800 रुपये वापस करना पड़ता है। मेन तकलीफ यही है।
हाँ, लोग तो खरीद तो रहे, घर पे बहुत लोगों ने रखा था। पहले जैसे लोग कार्ड मारते थे, तो अभी घर पे इमरजेंसी फंड के लिए रखा था, तो अभी लोग निकाल रहे कार्ड के जगह पे not use kar rahe.
Now, while the activity seems to be subdued at banks themselves in terms of exchanges or deposits happening right now, some of the bank employees we spoke to also said that over the last couple of days, that's over the weekend, people have come in and deposited the money into ATM machines and using the ATM machines into their bank accounts, and that way have deposited some of the 1,000 rupee notes that they were holding on to. Now, it is also important to remember that people have till September 30th to exchange these notes or deposit them at their respective banks. And BQ Prime has also learned that beyond September 30th, people may be required to approach RBI offices if they wish to exchange their notes.
And as we wrap up the earnings season, we spoke to the managements of Bharat Electronics and Bajaj Electricals. Listen in as they talked about the outlook for 2024.
Yeah, for current year 23-24, we are looking for a revenue growth of around 17%. That we will be crossing 20,000 mark in our sales revenue. Order booking will be in the region of 20,000 crore plus, the way things are going on. And EBITDA margin, we maintain the guidance of 21 to 23%.
Sir, give us an idea of what is the kind of visibility that you have on order book from a defense and non-defense point of view?
See, we have been maintaining a ratio of around anywhere between 80-20 to 90-10 in defense and non-defense revenue. So it will continue. 22-23 we had a ratio of 87% in defense sector and around 10.6% in non-defense, 2.4% in exports. So this year maybe 85-15 because we have a quite good amount of EVMs this year. So probably 85-15 will be the ratio.
We are looking at a double-digit margins, and which has been our guidance in earlier as well. But having said that, with this commodity rates up, we could not sustain that momentum, and we are close to about 6-7% now. Our aim is to improve the margins about a percentile point from here on by the end of next 2 quarters, and hopefully if things go well, reach up to about 8% margin by end of the year.
All right. Do you also, plan to take price hikes or maybe price cuts, given that costs have come down a little bit, and to pass on the benefits to the consumers?
So honestly, we have not been able to take the entire price hike. So whatever has risen, we have not been able to pass on. And that is one of the reasons why we still have the margin pressures on us. Having said that, there is no scope of reduction in price at this stage because, as I mentioned, that we still are feeling the heat of the increased commodity. The commodity rates are still not back to the pre-COVID level. Overall, there has been an increase of to about 20-25% in the cost, whereas we have just passed on about 14-15% into the market over the last 2-3 years. So pretty difficult to reduce prices at this stage.
And it's burgers versus pizzas. Yes, you heard that right. So which one will end up on the plates of Indians? With Indians cutting back on discretionary spending, they are preferring burgers. This is reflected in the same store sales numbers of quick service restaurants, which is why McDonald's and Burger King have fared better than Domino's and Pizza Hut this time. My colleague Cesar Sain gets us more details.
Yes, that's right. Indians are now preferring burgers over pizzas as they are increasingly cutting back on discretionary spending amid high inflation. In FY23, prices of cheese shot up 40%, flour prices rose 28% and chicken prices went up by 20%. While flour and chicken prices are easing, cheese costs remain elevated. Now, to protect margins, companies continue to pass on the higher costs of ingredients to consumers, and as a result, we have seen consumers are downtrading to cheaper alternatives like fried chicken and burgers. The fourth quarter earnings of QSR chains suggest that the operators of McDonald's and Burger King have fared better than Domino's and Pizza Hut franchisees on the same store sales growth. The quarterly numbers also reinforce the downtrading witnessed for the past several quarters. The pizza makers have also launched low-priced variants, partly impacting their volume growth. The pizza chains have also fared the worst in terms of margins. Now, inflation and downtrading are not the only reasons though. Consumers' preference is also changing. We had recently spoken to Swiggy's management and they have highlighted the shift towards products that don't taste mass-produced, and like that, the demand for artisanal products have risen. Brick Oven Pizza Bakery from Bangalore, 1441 Pizzeria from Bombay and Tossin Pizza from NCR are some that have seen significant growth within a month of being onboarded onto Swiggy's gourmet vertical. However, the pizza makers are now betting on IPL and school summer vacations to drive demand in the first quarter ending June, even as the overall discretionary spending remains uncertain. Analysts have flagged that the competition from food aggregators also remains a key risk.
That's all we have for you in today's segment. Do tune in every weekday at 5:30 p.m. to catch your latest business news. Thanks for watching.